I wouldn't do that, but you could.
Sometimes the best thing is
Well, hard to do. I learned who I could do.
Welcome, everyone. Hope I didn't scare you with that bang bang. Welcome to our council committee meeting of June 11th, 2026. I'll ask our CAO for the roll call, please.
Thank you very much. So we start with the chair, Deputy Mayor Sanderson.
Present.
Mayor Blair has sent her regrets. Councillor Weatherby.
Present.
Councillor Richardson.
Present.
Councillor Cooper.
Present.
Councillor Johnson.
Present.
Councillor Leggett.
Present.
Councillor Martel.
Present.
Councillor Patton.
Present.
Councillor Benoit. Councillor Fletcher. Councillor Kennedy.
Present.
You have quorum.
Thank you, Dan. In peace and in friendship and in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, I acknowledge that the municipality of Colchester is in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq. You have an agenda before you. Oh, before we get started, I want to thank Suzanne for being here tonight. Tracy's away and our thoughts and prayers are with Tracy. And we thank Suzanne for filling in, and you know you're going to do a bang up job.
No pressure.
Got you. I have an agenda before you. Is there anything anybody would like to add or take away? Have a motion to approve the agenda? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, there is one thing.
Right.
Yes. And I had it handed to me. It's 6B and it's support for a feasibility study with CMM, and that was on table. 6B. Oh, I'd entertain a motion to approve by Councillor Weatherby, seconded by Councillor Cooper. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded, nay. The motion carried unanimously. You have the minutes of May 5th and May 14th, 2026. The errors or omissions. Entertain a motion to approve. Moved by Councillor Patton, seconded by Councillor Benoit. Any further discussion? Questions been called. All in favor, say aye. Contrary-minded, the motion carries. Is there any business arising from those minutes? No, not seeing any hands. We'll move on to our action items then, and our first one is the art purchase policy amendments. And Craig Burgess, Manager of Recreation Services, will address this, please.
Just before we
sorry.
get started, we
Yes.
didn't get an agenda. Was it passed out?
Should have it. Oh, you didn't get one?
You usually have agenda on table?
Usually,
I'm
but
sorry.
you have it on your
Package.
yeah, sorry. Art purchase policy amendments. Craig, please.
Good evening, Council, Madam Chair. In front of you, we have the art purchase policy, and we're making a few amendments to that policy. Put forth amendments for the Municipality of Colchester art purchase policy for council's consideration. A little bit of background. We have our annual art show, typically in November, that we host that, and this upcoming year will be our 38th year. From the submissions, we do pick a winning piece by the selection committee, and we post that and put that downstairs. The last policy update was in January 2016. Some of the key changes to the policy of providing clarity on the municipality as being the host for the event. Previous, there was another host, and we were co-hosting with that. And defining who sits on the steering committee and eliminating the local arts organization as hosting. Staff feel that these proposed amendments to the policy are more in line with what has been happening with the art program for the last few years. So a couple options there. They could recommend to council for the amendments that are presented. They could modify some of those amendments, or they could no changes to the existing policy. Staff is recommending the proposed changes to the policy be approved as presented. I'll open it up to the floor.
Thank you, Craig. Prepared to put a motion on the floor. Councillor Cooper, please.
No, I can put it on there.
Oh.
Yes, that's one second, I'll do it. I move the council committee recommends the council that the amendments to the art purchase policy be approved as presented.
Thank you. The seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Any discussion on the Councillor Cooper?
Just a quick question
Yep.
for Peter Craig. So does the local arts organization have any input into this at all anymore, or is it just totally us now?
Through you to the counselor. They don't have a lot of input anymore to that. We haven't had someone from the Arts Society sit on the selection committee for the last 5 years. We asked them for input. In the past, we've asked them to help hang the paintings as well, but it's basically our staff that has been doing that. So it's strictly, the last 4 or 5 years, it's been, the host is the municipality and our department.
Okay, yeah, I'm not.
We do use their mail out list and all that stuff, right? Give us all of that information to hand out as well.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but I was not there before and they weren't apparently part of it, did a good job. So, okay, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Patton.
Thank you, Chair, through you to Craig. Thank you, Craig. I agree with these changes. I would like to see something added as far as, can we host this within the county, McCrae Library, Tatamagouche Library, maybe move it around from year to year? Would that be a possibility? I'd love to see it in the county itself and supporting our county businesses.
Through the chair to the counselor, I think that would be a great idea if we can move it around. Can certainly entertain that.
Even community halls, we have some decent ones in the county that would probably love to host an art show.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Ready for the question? Motion's been called. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Reminded? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. The next item is speed radar sign deployment. And Michelle will introduce this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, Council. The item before you this evening is seeking some direction on deployment of our speed radar signs. Refresh Council, we ordered a couple of speed radar signs in 2024. We have been deploying them since February of this year. Bit of a delay because we require provincial approval when we deploy on a provincial road, so that took some time. In your item, you have a list of areas where we've already deployed the signs. We also had gathered input from council in 2024 where they would like to see the speed signs deployed, so that list is in your item as well. And what we're looking for now is direction from council on forward. We could continue to rotate through the original list of deployment areas if council wishes. We could open it up again for councillors to submit through the CAO additional locations for consideration and add them to the list. Of course, we could also discontinue the program. I understand council is probably not in favor of that. So looking for feedback from council on how to proceed with the speed radar deployment program.
Thank you, Michelle. Is anyone prepared to put a motion on the floor? Councillor Patton?
Thank you. I'd like to put a motion on the floor that council committee recommends to council that the speed radar sign deployment program continue and that councillors forward their requests for additional monitoring locations to the CAO.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Benoit. And you want to speak to that?
I do. Michelle, I noticed when it was put out on the 311, it mentions near Mountain Lee. I had said like Farnham Road and then further out in the mountain area. Mountain Lee is where people typically slow down anyway because of the crosswalk. So I'm just wondering if we can try it back a little bit next time, or is that a problem because of location?
Yeah, so through the chair, I would say if you're sending locations along to the CAO, maybe include a civic number so we know roughly what we'd like. Also, the province won't allow them just anywhere. So it could be that the locations were declined where you originally wanted them. But going forward, if councillors could include a civic number, we'll make sure that we get as close to that location as possible.
Thank you.
Councillor Cooper.
Yeah, Michelle, please. So I've got a couple on the informal list. Do I need to make those formal, do I?
Through the chair, no, the ones that are included in the item, we'll just include them as default.
So another question is,
Sure.
So the information we get off that, are we gonna get a complete breakdown of everything in there, like how many people speeded, what was the speed? You know, how fast they're going, anything like that, like, I'd like to know if there's 1,000 cars and 10 people are speeding, it's not much, but 100 people are speeding, that's bad sort of thing. How fast they're going and things like that, so.
Through the chair, so the intent was to forward that information to the RCMP, but I guess if there's an appetite to have that information circulated to council, we could put that together. So,
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Anybody else?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Councillor Leggett.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through to Michelle. Just kind of curious as to what information is actually gathered on these devices. Does it correlate just anything above the posted speed limit? Does it capture the fastest vehicle that went by sort of thing at some point? Like, in all this mismatched information that's going to go to the RCMP, how is it counting traffic as well as how many people are over the speed limit? Because I know on Sam River Road, anybody that's not doing 60 kilometers an hour probably is get hit. But if somebody goes by, I bought the Mustang and so I want to see how far I can take one of these things up and get to the top of the list. But is it the fastest speed that they come across sooner or later that gets exactly? Is it all the information that goes to the RCMP, then they're going to come back with some kind of report to us as to what kind of results they get? Thanks.
through the chair, so the software will pick up every vehicle and it does a statistical analysis of how many vehicles are over, under, at. So all of that is broken down by the software. There's no need for our CMP to do an analysis. The analysis is already there. So just be a matter of taking the trends off the software and reporting that along to council and to the RCMP.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Councillor Kennedy.
Through the chair to you, Michelle. As I read through it, I see the only thing we're doing is gathering information to forward it to the RCMP. We're telling them the things they already know. Are we expecting them to do something? Are we asking them to do something? Are we just giving them information? I'm just wondering why we do all this and then just give them the information.
Dan, did you want to take this?
Through the chair. So two things. First, initially when these were being purchased, the information we received is that when people see these signs, they tend to slow down. Like it's kind of like a gut check. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to be going 65. And that's the RCMP has said in general, that's been their experience because they had a little portable one that they moved around. But then second, it also then for the RCMP is if statistics start showing that there's an increased number of speeders in an area, then on their list of places to go out and spend a little bit more time, have more of a presence, then this data is helpful in that way. So yes, part of it is to help the RCMP and provide information, but also the evidence supplied even by the RCMP in discussion is they said typically these signs do remind people of their speed and typically get people to slow down. Not saying you're going to get everybody to, but it's just one of those other things to help form better behaviors.
So just a follow-up question then. Are the numbers recorded so we know which car was speeding and which one wasn't, or is it just 10 cars were speeding?
Through the chair. So no, it doesn't, it's not photo radar, so we don't know who it is. It just gives you kind of as Michelle was discussing, gives you some statistics. So if 50% of all the cars coming through are above the speed limit, then the RCMP know this is likely a place they should be putting more of a presence and time in checking vehicles. If 99% of the vehicles in that area are not, then they know that as well. So it was really more than anything to make people a reminder that if you're coming through and you're speeding, that you should be checking your speed, just kind of the good driver. But then part two was to supply that information so that the RCMP then statistically would know if more individuals were driving above the speed. So just to give you an example, there are certain areas that a lot of times you'll hear anecdotally that folks are speeding. So often, example, we used to get a lot of complaints that trucks would be speeding on the number 6, say coming from Cumberland County. And so the RCMP went out and found that in an afternoon, not one truck was speeding going through a particular area. But if you have data that's already shows, yes, it's not kind of just somebody standing back thinking it's speeding. They have data to support maybe they should spend some time out there to make sure.
So just one follow-up
Sure.
question. Maybe we don't have enough data yet to find out if if the if the RCMP is working with the data. Cause I'm thinking that you're giving the data to the RCMP and they're too busy to do it. They go on and do something else. And I'm just wondering if this has an influence on what the RCMP do. And you kind of said yes, but
Through the chair, I think it's a great follow-up discussion, and it might even be one that we can bring up with our police advisory committee to have a bit of a discussion around the signs and what the RCMP are doing with the information.
thank you.
Councillor Benoit, please.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Councillor Cooper. I would be interested in a follow-up from the RCMP or through the police advisory or something to find out. I think, like Dan alluded to, it does help the RCMP know, sorry, where our problem areas are, but it's once they start slowing down to that sign, just like the mobile units that they usually put out, as soon as they pass it, they're gonna start speeding again. So, I mean, the only way to stop them, I think, is by tickets, but I think this is one of those tools in the toolbox that we can use, and hopefully it will help the RCMP find those problem areas that they can narrow down on. And I do have a few more that I would like to expand there, so I'll put that through to David. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Michelle.
Councillor Patton.
Thank you, Chair. To Councillor Kennedy's question, in speaking with the RCMP, Councillor Kennedy, they had mentioned that most importantly, this data is going to give them a time frame, so time of day, and I'm talking specifically on the 311. There are certain times of the day that it's worse than others, and so rather than send an officer out there for 6 or 8 hours, they can say, okay, at 10 o'clock in the morning, we have a real problem up there, and they can pinpoint the time. So that's where I think this is going to be most helpful to try and catch the problem areas.
Councillor Martel.
And thank you, through you to Michelle. I want to thank you very much for placing the one in Tatamagouche by the school. Having it placed there created a little bit of a whodunit mystery where the RCMP, the Village Commission, Public Works were chatting with school officials and trying to figure out who put that there. So there was a bit of a buzz created about it. So I was really happy to see in the council package that identified that as a location. So that was wonderful. And it is working. People are seeing it and slowing down. There's one at the corner of Pine and Maple, and it's been there a long time, and it flashes when you're going over the speed limit. I won't tell you how I know that. But this one also is creating that buffer, showing people to slow down, particularly in that area. Certainly with the new traffic act that the province is putting forward, it does include language for speed traffic ticketing with speed radar. And I hope that that's something that our municipality can revisit and be prepared for when that legislation is fully enforced.
Thank you, Councillor Martel. Councillor Fletcher.
Through the chair, Michelle, thank you for it was the one in Great Village by the school as well. And it did make a difference. I was following people, and once they seen what they were doing, their brakes were on and slowing down. I know it was brought up at our police advisory committee and asked them about it. So they're like Councillor Patton said, for the areas that have more time issues or whatever, they'd be aware of that. Also, just as another little information thing, there are, and this is provincial, but it's up by the toll plaza up on the pass. Without those, people are just whipping by. When those are out, they have speed radar signs on the sides, brake lights, and they do work, and they make people think, and they make things safer. So I think they're a great move, and hopefully we can get some more.
Councillor Weatherby.
Thank you, thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Michelle. The time frame is usually 2 to 4 weeks, as I understand from your report. With the number of locations that we'd like to hit, is there any chance we could get it closer to the 2 than the 4? I know workload's involved and staff time and everything else to get them there. And I would assume that weather does interfere a little bit, but it would likely allow us to do more locations if we had shorter periods.
Through the chair, we can try our best to get closer to the 2 weeks, but you're right, it is a workload situation. Their sewer crew that installs the signs is trying to spread everybody.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Counselor Benmont.
Sorry, sorry.
Can you?
Sorry.
Okay.
Through you to Michelle. I think I know the answer, but you said that it's up to, Nova Scotia Public Works says to approve where the locations are. What would their reason be to decline? Would it be like sight lines or something like that, or?
Through the chair, I assume sightlines and not too close to intersections. Can certainly clarify that. I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah.
Thank you. You, Counselor Cooper.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I totally disagree with Councillor Weatherby. I think we should be doing them more on the 4 weeks. We're gonna spend all the time to get them there. Give them time to properly work and everything like that. I'm not wanting to rush them here and rush them there. We wanna, if we're really worried about making more progress with the number of locations, I think we should get more than. That's been said already, but we talk about that.
Counselor Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, through you to Michelle, and Councilor Cooper just touched on it. So last fall, I spoke to our CAO about maybe purchasing more, and before we do that, I'll ask Michelle, how would it affect your staff time? Purchase 2 more and put them in the system, because the problem is that we just don't have enough. So I think that we do need more than 2 if we're gonna utilize these things. So my question is, if we've got 4 more, a total of 6, what impact would it have on your sewer permit that if we're trying to put these around the countryside?
Through the chair, so moving them is the 2 is probably half a day. So you triple that, a day and a half every 2 to 4 weeks for 2 people.
Follow up. So it is doable is what you're saying? You think you could make that happen if we did purchase 4 more?
Through the chair, if you need us to make it happen, we will make it happen. Ultimately, you know, for example, the Divert Airport has used up my crew for the last 4 weeks. So things like regular maintenance are falling behind. So it doesn't mean that avoiding crises. It just means that our good to do work is probably not happening as quickly as it should. So will it take up time that we should be inspecting manholes and flushing sewers? Yes, it will. That's up to council, I guess.
Fine, no, I appreciate that, but so I was recently in New Brunswick here, and I've seen signs up there. This is in northern New Brunswick on the border side facing Maine. They're a much larger sign. They're probably 2 by 2.5, and they flash when you're speeding, and it says "You're speeding, slow down," as opposed to take you down to your speed limit that you were at and what you're at now. So I will talk to a CAO about purchasing more, and they will look at something a little different than what we have, because I thought it was a lot better than what I've seen. What we have now is that it physically tells you and flashes you and tells you where to speed. And yeah, the information's great to have, but I think the impact is on the individual driving down the road to speed at the time that is happening. So I will talk to Dan and see where we go. But yeah, if you think you have time, I will see that we can.
Counselor Cooper.
Yeah, just very quickly, I've seen those signs too. I'd like probably a combination of both, maybe the ones we have, give us information, but what Councillor Johnson talks about, those really hits right between the eyes, so they can really notice them. So yeah, I like those too.
Counselor Leggett.
Thank you. No, just a follow-up to Councillor Johnson's comment. The one on the Abercrombie Road going into Glasgow, it's the same way. The ones I like, I saw them behind us on the weekend. The ones that have the sad face on them when you go by them too fast. The sad face, make yours slow down.
Any further discussion? Any further questions to Michelle? We have a motion on the floor. Ready for the question?
Question.
Question has been called. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Michelle. Our next item is that on table item, support for feasibility study with CNM. And our new Director of Community Development, Reed Shepherd, joins us tonight. So be Reed action I feel. Welcome, Reed. Hope you're getting settled in.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so for this evening, I'm what are bringing forward is a request that has come from the Confederacy of Mainland Mi'kmaq, which is their staff approached us looking for basically a letter of support and a little bit of staff time. What they're looking to do is apply for a grant through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which is a kind of climate adaptation program or study, I guess, to look at the creation of wetlands on agricultural lands. The intention would be that they could if they were to get the funding successfully, they would be investigating how you could create wetlands on farms in partnership with different farmers as a nature-based solution to look at things like mitigating runoff, or other types of residues, as well as improving water quantity. So it's really kind of using wetlands as a nature-based approach to mitigate some of the effects of climate change. So they want to do a study to look at doing that. They've approached staff here in Colchester. They've also approached staff at East Hants. East Hants staff have indicated they're putting forward a similar recommendation to their council. It's a fairly minor ask in our in terms of a letter of support and a few hours of staff time as well. So our recommendation is that the council would provide that letter of support and agreeing to some in-kind contribution, as well as sharing some of the GIS data and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Reid. Is anybody prepared to put a motion on the floor? Councillor Cooper? Okay, Councillor Patton?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'll put a motion on the floor that council proceed with providing a letter of support as a municipal partner for the funding application for a feasibility study for terrestrial wetland creation on agricultural lands, plus agrees to in-kind staff contribution and sharing of data.
Thank you, and seconded by Councillor General and Councillor Patton, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to Reid. Nice to meet you. I was at FCM last week and I took a study tour that was hosted by Alice. And Nova Scotia is one of few provinces that has an Alice program here. So I'm wondering if you can take a minute to look into that, because they deal with exactly this. We went to a site that had done a riparian zone. They had used an old hay field, dug out a pond, and the spoils from that pond, they did a berm around the outside. So they have water that they're able to use. They're able to make better use of the hay field, and they have a nice little nature area for ducks and tadpoles, whatever. But it all worked really well together. So in a drought, they have that pond accessible for irrigation and whatnot. So it might be a program this municipality should explore. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks through the chair. That's a great suggestion, and certainly something I can forward back to the folks looking at this program. I think that's exactly kind of what they're aiming to do, is look at something and how we could apply something like that here locally.
The 50-50 cost share. Sorry, I should have followed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patton. Councillor Cooper?
Yeah, the chair.
Mhm.
Sounds like great plan. My only question is, we just heard talk about there's only so much time, and if you take time to do one other thing, you're taking away for something else. I know 11 or 12 hours is not a lot, but it's 11 or 12 hours. So who's would be doing this? Whose staff would be doing? Would we be taking to do this?
Yeah, through the chair. That's a great point. The request like this, it's what they're looking at is a 6-month period. I think we're comfortable. It would be our sustainability staff that would be involved in that. We feel pretty confident it's not a big ask, and the reason for that is because the Confederacy of Mainland Mi'kmaq staff are the ones leading it, so that wouldn't be on us to host. It wouldn't be on us to coordinate. Pretty much hands off. If there's a meeting, a couple of those meetings we would be attending, but that's pretty.
They're doing the heavy lifting. We're just fine tuning.
Yeah, through the chair. Exactly. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Further discussion? Ready for the questions been called? All in favor, say aye. Reminded nay. The motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Reed. All right, that's our action items for tonight. We'll move on to our information items. And the first one is the award of the Tatamagouche sewer replacement tender. And you've seen the information in your package. Are there any comments, questions about that? Councillor Cooper.
Yeah, let's go.
Yep.
To Michelle, please. Where's this company from? I don't recognize that name. Maybe I should, I don't know.
Michelle, please.
Through the chair, I believe they do a fair bit of work in Amherst, and so geographically it ended up that they saw the work in Tatamagouche and wanted to take it on. We did check the references, check the rep projects. It seems like they're qualified to do the work. And so
Okay, no, I was just wondering who they were. I just threw out the name. Okay, yeah, good, thank you.
Anything further? All right. Our next item is the MacElmon Roundabout and servicing, and it's an update on staff efforts to compile additional information on the roundabout project. And as you can see from the information item, we will hear more probably in the August committee meeting. Is that okay? Along? The next information item is the director's report from our Director of Corporate Services. Are there any questions for Scott? Okay. Councillor Cooper?
No questions. I'd just like to recommend that other councillors look at the reports for other municipalities. Quite interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Great report. That's all I have on my list. That's all that's on the agenda. And it's a little after 6:30. There's nothing for closed session, so we don't need to go in camera.
So it's been Paul's fault all along.
Now we know.
Thank you, Reed.
It doesn't usually end 30 minutes into a meeting, just so you don't get used to this. Motion to adjourn by Councillor Weatherby. You got ahead of you, Councillor. Richardson. Hello.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Winty minutes more than one.
And that was. God love it.